Beautiful, beautiful people. Just going to make a couple of adjustments. Hi, Geeia Ariati here. Beautiful beings. Those that are here called to get a little bit of information around preparations for the Lion's Gate. So if this is your first time tuning in, I'm Geeia Ariati. I am a channel of infinite truth. And I'm a conscious business consultant. I align and assist people to find their purpose, to build their soul's blueprint, and to create a life designed by their soul so they can live in alignment with the true remembrance of who they are. If you are looking for any assistance and preparation, I'm going to pop this here as an initial invitation. I will no longer be doing any healing, specifically the word healing, in regards to the spiritual community and consciousness and alchemy in that form, as the healing components of my work will ceasing after the 8-8 portal. So if you would like to receive one of my 2-hour quantum healing sessions before they are ceasing, please do visit the bio and see what's available, or contact me directly if you can't find any spots. So those are available until the 8-8, and then we move into a new paradigm of creation. So you may have already seen a lot of different creation energies coming through me, a lot more clarity and up level of my offerings. And that is to represent some of the things that we're going to be speaking about today. So I want you to really feel into your being, into your body in relation to where it is that you're moving towards within regards to the 8-8 portal. So here in Australia, it's the 4th of the 8th. So we've got 4 more days. We've got 4 more days of intentional preparation, or intentional transformation, or intentional closing. So these are some of the words that are more specific to the preparations of what is required in landing at the 8-8 portal in the way that is true for you. So when we're looking at the themes that are currently here, I'm going to talk about 5 specific themes, and we're going to go through those directly now. So this information is coming direct from the field in relation to the current, now, present moment moving forward. And we are speaking to the current, now, present moment because that's all we have. So the energies that are here is what we're focusing on as a collective, as one mind, as the totality of individuals that are looking for a higher bandwidth of consciousness and alchemy through our own self-realization. So this Lion's Gate and all Lion's Gate represent creation. And they represent a level of closing out an old cycle and opening into a new creation cycle. So what you're creating basically for the next year, we might call this the spiritual new year, is created in the times before the 8-8 portal. So you actually pre-create it. You've already gone through half of your creation of your next new year, and you're basically creating your timeline, your path, your bridge of reality forward. And so anything that you've been moving through in the past 3 to 4 weeks has been clearing out, alchemizing out the densities, the old, and ensuring that you've got a clear pathway, a golden pathway, a intention for your next year ahead. So this means that there's a lot of rapid purification, there's a lot of rapid transformation, there's a lot of things that need to be dissipated from your experience so that you have that clarity to step into this new pathway on the 8-8 portal in the 3 days afterwards. So that portal of stepping through into the creation path, as if you're starting the new yellow brick road, it happens on the 8-8 and the 3 days after, pending where you are in the collective experience. Now, some of the themes that have been alchemizing out to ensure that we create what it is we want to create for the next year is the theme of it's an interesting one. I love it when they give me words so quite shock horror, like dismemberment. So, right, theme 1, dismemberment. Now, I'm going to really explain this because it's not as horrific or horrifying as it sounds. So dismemberment in the form of consciousness. If we look at dismemberment, this is the area of self that has actually cut yourself off. So this is like an extreme split, an extreme fragmentation. This is when we actually disconnect something to ourselves and either leave it with someone else, merge it with someone else. So dismemberment being that if you have a twin flame, so a lot of twin flame stuff's happening at the moment, so much twin flame of recognizing where you've actually stopped living, stopped being, stopped creating, either waiting for someone or healing something, or in the story and the narrative of the twin flame journey, which is really quite detrimental. But it's happening on all relationship levels. So this is not just romantic relationships, this is children, this is parents, and it's where you've dismembered yourself in connection to them to assist with some kind of collective healing, to assist in some kind of evolutionary journey, to assist in some kind of pathway of purity. And so this dismemberment is your heart, perhaps. You might not even have your heart in your body because it might be with someone else teaching them love, right? So these things are, if you might have dismembered yourself to bring in someone else's trauma, to alchemize their trauma. Now, this is a really important theme to look at in truth of where have you left, split yourself, cut yourself into pieces, and dissected yourself through this dismemberment in the name of some kind of assistance, healing, love, or a story of union or connection. And what parts of you are actually separate from your being here? Is it a part of your soul? Is it a part of your spirit? Is it a part of your physical organs? Is your DNA split? What is it that is there that is showing you that you've gone into dismemberment and you're calling those parts back? You actually need to. You need to call these pieces and these parts back if you would like to step into the creation path of your own sovereignty, right? So if you continue to keep these parts and don't alchemize these distortions, these points of opportunity to become more whole in your own energy, and you still have dismemberment as a consciousness, what you're going to do is you're going to create a pathway forward for the A8 for the next year that is going to take you through that journey of finding where you have separated yourself through mutations and distortions. So that's theme one. And that will require some grieving. That will require some really intentional awareness around what you might consider agendas, influence, manipulation, and different paradigms where there has been preventative mechanisms from you being your wholeness, your totality, and continuing to walk the path in your sovereign expression. Diato koromata kashambata kie pe ti shapoto korokoto kushambata kiarianai. Mo o koromata ka itakara katakishikia takaramoto kore. Insitakisha takarama ti taramatata. Eshkai atita karamata 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 karianai. Ishite ati de atosh kotokoria se ti taramata. Now, theme 2 is holograms. So we're going to look at the hologram reality and the understanding of what holograms are. And this might not seem like something that you're consciously working on, right? You're like, I don't even know what she's talking about. Why are we talking about holograms? I don't even know what a hologram is. The hologram is the hologram reality that's created from the framework or the consciousness of mind, right? So we live in a hologram experience. Everything is based on this perception of consciousness that creates frameworks and structures and different vibrational vortexes through our individual hologram, right? We are effectively a hologram of consciousness, yet what is being shown is where our hologram has basically gone offline. So if we see the hologram as something that's being created from our consciousness, from our soul, from our spirit, from our energy, and we've created a hologram reality, there's parts of our reality that are missing. There's pathways of light. I talk about many things. All of that is around the hologram of experience. So your blueprint is a hologram, your templates, your codes, all of that is holograms, and it's based off information, frequency, vibration that creates a patterning of frequency that creates your entire toroidal field of reality. Now, this hologram and where it's gone offline is where you're being guided to reconnect. So the reconnect to your own hologram experience, reconnect to your own hologram abilities, reconnecting to the hologram of reality that you created. So when your hologram goes offline, you will start to live from the hologram of the matrix. You will start to live from the hologram of other people's reality, self-created reality. So what happens is your motherboard, which is an energy system within you, your motherboard will connect into the holograms that exist in the other vortex of experience. So if you've gone offline in something, you can't exist in this reality without connection to the motherboard being in connection to a hologram of reality. So you'll get plugged into the matrix. You'll get plugged into your partner's hologram reality. You'll get plugged into the story of, the narratives that we can have, such as a twin flame hologram reality. So this motherboard requires you to go, hang on, what am I plugged into? Am I plugged into my own hologram creation, my own reality as a sovereign soul, as an individual? Or am I plugged into some other points of information here? Because I'm not sure that I'm living in alignment with my sacred heart, my spirit, my being. And so whether or not you have awareness of how to work with your hologram or your motherboard, because they are more advanced and multidimensional interpretations of reality of self, what you can do is you can start to see, where am I experiencing life from? Am I experiencing life from the reality that my soul's creating, or am I experiencing life through the lens of something else? And if you've got the lens of something else as your primary awareness and theme, it's time to pull yourself back. What is the reality that I am creating in my experience? And get some really clear definition of what is it that this reality that you are a builder of is creating. What experiences do you want? What kinds of interactions do you want? What kinds of truth is there to unveil and realize and to get really clear of? And this is something that, I used to do in relationship counseling, in the form of a relationship would provide that people weren't clear on what the kind of partner they were or what they wanted, right? So without the clarity, they were just creating from their trauma, from their karma. They weren't actually intentionally creating connection. So you could say their motherboard was connected into their past habitual patterns that was creating their future relationships, because there wasn't a clarity of what is actually true for me. So for instance, this morning I was in the shower. I was in the shower, guys. And I was having a nice, beautiful purification and allowing for that water to move over me. And it was like, and what came through for me was my truth in my hologram reality. The absolute truth for me is that I only create life with those that know God, that have come to a point of service of the kingdom of heaven and of this level of the holy communion with that of the God Trinity. So it's not that other realities are not beautiful, but for me to create my life, I desire to have my brothers and sisters that have the connection directly to God, because it further strengthens mine. It mirrors my beliefs. It allows for expansion. It allows for flow. We're in the same pathway forward. And so I serve the kingdom of heaven. That's what is true for me. I serve God consciousness, and I will walk as an angelic being or a goddess in form that has this connection to the Elohim and the truth of the law of one and the nature of God's experience. Now, why this is important is because there's so many of our brothers and sisters that don't serve that, right? So many serve different realities, different tribes, different pathways, different lineages. And for me, I had to get really clear of, actually, that's what I serve. And I don't want to engage at this point in my experience of what I know of who I am, anything outside of that. So that's my hologram reality, is the kingdom of heaven. And if you're of God in the form of godliness, and that's your pathway to teach God, that means that I would be open to creating with you. If you don't, I create here in my hologram reality and you create there. It doesn't mean that we can't be in connection. It doesn't mean that we can't communicate. It doesn't mean that we can't have friendship. But creation pathways, being that of the Lionsgate energy, do not happen. I will not create with anything that is not of the true connection to the kingdom of heaven and to God's path forward. So I hope that gives a little bit of insight as to how you can really interpret and understand what hologram reality is. I have my hologram reality. My daughter has a completely different hologram reality, right? I'm choosing New Earth. She's currently dancing between realms. And so when she's in a different realm, we just don't synergize. We don't create experience together and we don't really hang out. And that's okay. When she steps into the New Earth reality, we feel connection. We move through this experience. But whilst there's others, I'm peaceful, she feels contrast, right? And that's her sovereign choice as a soul to do through that. And I'm not going to influence that. But we don't have a path that we're creating together. So that's where there's a clarity. We live together. I guide her as a being. I give her an opportunity to choose a path of her soul. And she's also a sovereign human being, and she gets to do what is true for her, which means that the creation pathway for us, we don't have one. We don't have a timeline or a bridge of the golden path where we're both walking together. We have separate ones that are sometimes coming together next to each other and sometimes well apart. So there's some further clarity on theme 2. Mirie shapatakaramatuko sempetakiana, roto kushapatakeri, dishka atakurukutakoreanaya, nishka esiti karanadari, wo otoshoto korukutakoreana, and shitakeria to karamatakerianayate, eti tatarama 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 tataramata. Beautiful. So theme 3 is suppression. So suppression is very much here loud. Suppression is, where have I suppressed my voice? Where have I suppressed my sexuality? Where have I suppressed my true desires? Where have I suppressed my expression? Where have I suppressed my purpose? And we're looking at suppression in the form of not so much the point of I suppressed it, but where have I allowed myself to be suppressed based on the outside environment. So suppression can be many different forms. We self-suppress all the time, but the theme is not about self-suppression. It's about I've been suppressed, I am suppressed based on something that's happened in my external environment, something that needs to close out, complete, and finalize. So have I been suppressed by my family? Have I been suppressed by my religion? Have I been suppressed by my partner? Have I been suppressed by the collective conditioning? Have I been suppressed by political views? Have I been suppressed in some form that shuts my energy down, shuts my authenticity down, shuts my chi, my life force down? And what do I require to meet in this recognition of reclamation? So the suppression allows for reclamation. Reclamation is I reclaim my choice to choose. I reclaim my chi and my power. I reclaim my sexuality. I reclaim all that I am and all that I be. And so this reclamation allows for you to step out of those suppression stories. You don't need to necessarily deconstruct or dissolve the beliefs or the experience unless it's so loud, but you do require to go through a reclaiming process to reclaim all of those things you gave up, to reclaim all of those things that are no longer present in your energy field, to reclaim all of those things that are your divine birthright, to go through a full reclamation or reclamation experience, ceremony, a journaling practice, and to allow for the reclaiming of who you are beyond what has been outside of you. Now, this might be really uncomfortable because you're going to recognize all of the areas that you actually gave yourself up on a false illusion of what you thought you wanted or what you thought you were creating. And this can bring some of those big unveilings and those big, powerful and uncomfortable moments of I can't unsee that, right? So when you can't unsee something, it really means that you need to digest it, be with it, and move through and from it. Miatesh kapatakaramotoko re ishi ki tatakaramete ma asita shikatara matake te 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 dush kutukoro kutukoriamata mu ushumbotokoromata kerianayati di iti shatita karamata keanai ma atakaramata karamata karamata karamake anayati anai. Okay, theme 4 is divine partnership. So when we look at theme 4, divine partnership does not mean romantic. Now, divine partnership has a energy. Now, if we look at relationships, and I have done a relationship video on YouTube that you can look up, and it will have advanced relationships or relationship explanation. It talks about why you have a soulmate, why you have twin flames, why you have a karmic partner, why you have a divine union, why you have source union, why you have sacred union. It talks about this in the way to explain the different levels of relationship, consciousness, and connection through the romantic lens. Now, a divine partnership, when you're using this wording of partnership, it does not necessarily mean romantic. And the challenge is that we've enmeshed it in our reality. We have created partnership as a form of partnership romance. Now, they do not coexist together. Partnership is its own individual experience, and romance or a sensual sexual experience is very different to partnership. Partnership, actually, in its origins, is two individuals coming together to provide in partnership two lenses of perspective to create a pathway of information in relation to an end goal. Now, two or more, right? You can have partnership with more than one person, and you can have multiple partners that bring their perspective lens, their individual expression of consciousness to come together to create a pathway and a goal. So it's very much about a goal. So when you're calling in a life partner, guys, being aware that your life partner probably isn't going to be something that is sexual, and you've confused it with other relationship dynamics. And this is going to cause you a lot of chaos, a lot of pain, a lot of confusion, and a lot of enmeshment. So working on deconstructing partnership in the forms of the different layers of words that have come through for you, and allowing for that to provide a clarity of what partnership is. What is your life partner actually here for? So is your life partner here to be a companion with you in community? Is your life partner here to create a specific mission or purpose? Is your life partner a pathway of generative force to transformation or collective awakening? What is the goal? You need to look at, if you've got life partner coming up, what's the actual goal of the life partnership? Because it is not romantic. So it's important to clarify, to distinct, and to become aware of that entanglement that has become something that is causing disruption in your ability to create forward, to be honest, to be truthful, and to have the clean slate that is provided. Now, there may be some of you that have had life partner and, say, a divine union in the one partnership or the one person. But what that means is it can pivot. So if you're in a connection that has life partner and divine union, then you've got a life partner with a goal, non-romantic, but you've also got a divine union or a relationship connection that is romantic. So you've got one person that plays a non-romantic and a romantic role. That's where it gets a little bit enmeshed and a bit confusing, because sometimes we bring in a divine partnership for only a period of time. Sometimes we bring in a romantic experience to activate, to initiate, to bring up wounds, to rapidly heal, to transform, but the life partnership stays. Now, I personally know this. I've had these connections with some beautiful individuals, and we have an awareness of life partnership. Now, that doesn't mean that we co-create our entire life together. It means you're going to be there at the end. I'm going to be there at the end. We're going to come together and we're going to remind each other when we're off path. We're going to remind each other when we need to provide a little bit more information. We're going to go through a shift in it's like a life partnership. We are on the same trajectory or goal forward. You have the same goal as I have, and so therefore, romantic or not, we're going to that same end goal together, and whoever else is on the pathway with us. So this definition of connecting is really important. Clarity of your purpose, clarity of your mission, clarity of your goals, clarity of your trajectory forward, so you don't entangle them, you don't get confused, and you don't try and create something that it isn't. So if you are romantic with your life partner at this point in time, and that romantic piece completes, then not trying to place the romance back on top of the life partnership and grieving it, moving through it, letting it go, so you can have that clear life partnership goal come back into play. Because what happens is, if we don't separate them, clear them, alchemize them, move through this transformation of information, is that you can absolutely destroy the life partnership. So if you try and keep making the life partnership romantic because it once was, or it had a trajectory or a future projection at some point in time that it was, and you trying to put that onto it, you're going to destroy that life partnership. And that means there's going to be a separation point, and there will be that end goal will not be supported by both individuals. Now, it doesn't mean you can't circle back around, but it does mean that if you destroy that life partnership, you might need to look for new life partners and go through the cycle again. Mi I karamata ke shapata karoto ko shapoto koroko to koriate pi tata karamata kerianai. Ishkati tata karamata ko shiketana bu osoto ko shata karamata ki I iska ata karamata ke e ma I sapateshi tata karamata koroko to koshokoto kori bi isiti kata karamata Eshka tu rama e. Beautiful. And we're going into theme 5, our final theme of preparation for Lionsgate, for you to ensure that you clear the path for your new creation for the next year ahead. So theme 5 is dictatorship. So when we're talking about dictatorship, we're looking at where we're dictating the path forward rather than allowing the path to reveal itself. So based on our projection of where we're going. Now, I'm seeing a lot of this in my own mentoring with individuals, with that of soul blueprints, that of prophecies, that of oracles, all of these different perceptions and archetypal experiences, that there's actually a point where that dictatorship of vision, that dictatorship of where I'm going, that dictatorship of what I'm here for, through previous information, through previous vision, is distorting the path of creation forward. So it has become very apparent that we're not to dictate our journey at this point in time. We are not to dictate who we're doing our journey with. We are not to pre-place perceptions and conclusions on where we're going. Because in moments like this, when there is a rapid transformation, a rapid collapsing, closing, and you're in the point of destruction, creation energy, you actually don't know. And so if you're holding on to dictating it, you're going to be pulling your hair out and struggling through the stream to get to a specific point of trajectory, because you have already placed a perception on where you're going and why you're going there. but you're actually not going in that direction at all. So it's going to cause you a lot of grief, a lot of sorrow. I thought I was going this way, and it turns out I'm going this way. And so dictatorship as a personality type, as an archetype, as a point of spiritual ego or superiority in your vision, even, right? If you have had visions and you're like, no, I absolutely know I'm going this way, well, that's dictating you through a spiritual lens, and it's not the truth. You actually have no idea where you're going. You don't know because God has planned it, or your heart has planned it, your soul has planned it. I've got ringing in my ears. And so what that means is that you don't know where you're going, regardless of your abilities, regardless of your gifts. You might have a foggy vision, you might have a slight perception, you might have created a pathway, or even pre-planned things, but it does not mean that you're going to those things, nor does it mean you're going to that point of destination in the way that you think. So this dictatorship energy is around control. It is around superiority, and it is around the point of hierarchical mutation. So being aware of where your hierarchical self, your higher self, your monadic self, your ascended self is dictating your life experience right now. So this is humongous. I see that with so many light beings. I see it with so many individuals. They are being dictated by their higher upper self, and their sacred heart, their human, actually just gets pulled along for the ride, and it doesn't get to choose or create. That's not what we're here for. We're not here to be guided by our higher selves, guys. We're not here to be pulled and pushed and maneuvered and have the synchronicities and also the contrasts of this upper realm, out of body, altered experience. We're actually here to live present, to choose as a sovereign being, and to become embodied in our experience. That does not happen from higher self dictatorship. So one of the questions you can ask yourself is, where do I feel out of control to my higher self, and where do I feel that my human doesn't get a chance to choose life? And that will be a really beautiful navigation for you to start to unlock, recode, and bring more of your energy into embodiment, and start to bring your higher self into your heart. Start to ask for those upper expressions of you to say, hey, time to start coming in here. I don't want to be disassociated anymore. I don't want to be ADHD anymore. I don't want to lose focus. I don't want to be erratic. I don't want to have anxiety. I don't want to have a disassociative experience. I would like to have my human experience here, present with my life. And so it's time to start to come down, start to come into my body, connect into my being, and integrate with my cellular structure. That's what it's about. That is the most supportive way for you to consciously create and move through into the 8-8 portal and create this beautiful, magical next 12-month cycle with all of our yummy creation codes. If this feels resonant for you to come and intentionally come into a transmission, I will be doing an 8-8 portal transmission at 9 p.m. Brisbane Standard Time in our community, Bring the New Earth Tribe. So that is in Australia, that's Friday, 9 p.m. Brisbane Standard Time. We have a global community, so that will be roughly 5 a.m. in the yeah, you might need to do the conversions. And come join us for a potent, powerful creation portal, and a shift from what was into what is. If you would like any healing support, or if you're ready to do some wealth creation and transformation in the form of your blueprint, your purpose, and where you're going, please do check my links and see what it is that is most resonant to support. I currently have 2 availabilities for 3-month mentorships to build your soul's business blueprint plan. Basically, that provides you with all of your marketing material from your soul, your message from your soul, your coloring. It gives you your phrases that communicate to those individual beings that you're connecting with. It gives you your sacred geometry. It works through the previous identity that's prevented you. It gives you the foundations, as well as a low ticket offer, a high ticket offer. We look at missions, assignments. We look at what it is you're here to be a pillar of support for. So it's a complete soul reading. It is a map to the pathway forward. If that feels true for you to invest in, please let me know if you would like to jump on a discovery call, and we'll see if this is for you. And until next time, thank you for your presence. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for supporting this space. Please do like, subscribe, and share this so that we can share this preparation to our beautiful divine family and bring in the new frequencies of creation. All right. I love you. Adonai.